She can't tell them to stop. She couldn't get away because she's in a 5-point harness car seat. She just had to sit there and take it, and the bus driver wasn't stopping. An upset mother explained after seeing what her young daughter endured on the school bus. And it's heartbreaking, to say the least. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like, and share this video with your friends. Lillian Waldron, a 10-year-old little girl with developmental delays, attends Langlade Elementary School in Green Bay, Wisconsin. To get to and from school, she rides a bus with other students who also have special needs, sitting in a child's safety seat with a 5-point harness directly behind the bus driver. One would think such an arrangement would provide the utmost safety for the nonverbal little girl, but her parents found out that sadly wasn't the case. When Lillian, affectionately called Lily by her parents, came home on a Monday afternoon, she ran to her mother crying, holding her arm, and was inconsolable. Lily doesn't speak. So, her mom didn't know what was wrong. She would find out, however, when she took off her daughter's shirt and uncovered a grisly sight. She loves baths, and that's soothing to her. So, I brought her home and I was getting her ready for the bath. I took her sweatshirt off, and that's when I noticed, recalled Lynn Waldron Moala, Lillian's mother. The disabled child's tiny upper arms were covered in major bruises, indicating the torture she was forced to endure as her safety seat prevented her from getting away from the abuse. While sitting right behind the bus driver, Lillian Waldron was repeatedly bitten by another student, unable to tell her tormentor to stop. But although Lily can't speak, she does make sounds when she's in pain. Sounds the bus driver should have heard and investigated. Instead, the driver did nothing to help. That's why her parents are speaking out. The seat was right behind the bus driver and he couldn't hear anything going on or see anything? Come on, Chad Waldron, Lillian's dad, said in disbelief. Making matters worse, the incident was caught on video that's been described as gruesome and horrifying. According to a representative for Lamers Bus Lines, all Green Bay area public schools buses have video recording devices on them, and bus drivers are allowed to step in if an altercation happens. But that's seemingly not what happened during the incident involving Lillian Waldron. The school district said they are investigating the video from the bus, but according to the child's mother, the principal already watched it, and he was disturbed by what he saw. He said it was gruesome and horrifying to look at. That the girl was brutally biting my daughter's arm, Lynn said. Several administrators and myself immediately reached out to the family. A statement from School District Superintendent Michelle Langenfeld said, "We met with them to address their concerns and provide support to ensure the physical and emotional well-being of our student. Ensuring that well-being is as easy as having an adult watch over the kids, according to the Lillian Waldron's parents. If you can't keep an eye on these kids and they are special needs, then you need to bring somebody in, to be watching if the bus driver can't do it," Chad said. "I would like to see this not ever happen to another child. No other child needs to go through what Lily went through," Lynn added. So far, the school has made 2 changes to prevent the incident from happening again. First, the student who bit Lily is no longer allowed at the elementary school. Secondly, Lily will ride to and from school in a van with 2 adults going forward. But are these solutions enough? Shouldn't someone also be held responsible for neglecting their duties, whether that's the school or the bus driver? Yes, the driver has to watch the road, but he or she also has a responsibility to ensure the safety of all children on the bus. If this wasn't possible for any reason, the employee had a duty to make the school aware that the situation was not safe. If this was an out-of-the-ordinary exception to the usual ride, the driver should have pulled over and addressed the issue as a priority, just like we would expect them to do for a child experiencing a medical emergency. Instead, the bus driver's only focus seemed to be on driving. As a child undoubtedly shrieked in pain right behind the person responsible for keeping her safe, her cries were ignored, and the result was so much worse than it had to be. Rather than being bitten once, which is admittedly bad enough, she was bitten again and again until she was covered in bruises that visually represent only a fraction of the intense pain and fear she must have endured. An aid for the bus sounds like a viable solution, but many complain it would be expensive for taxpayers who fund the district. However, so is a lawsuit when the lack of oversight and supervision leads to a preventable injury or worse. If another child can bite this little girl to this extent without someone intervening, what else could they have done? And what if it was your child? What price do you put on their safety? It's a question every parent must ask themselves when trusting a school bus driver or any caregiver with their child's safety. Lily's parents, like many, assumed their daughter was in good hands, that she was safe on a bus designed for special needs children. But that trust was broken the moment her silent cries for help were ignored. For any parent, especially one of a nonverbal child, that's a fear that lingers in the back of their mind every day. And for the Waldrons, it's no longer just a fear, but a heartbreaking reality they now must confront. Lily's experience is not just an isolated incident. It's part of a larger issue with the care and supervision provided to vulnerable children in special needs programs. While the decision to remove the student who harmed Lily and provide additional supervision going forward is a step in the right direction, it's reactive rather than proactive. Preventive measures should have been in place from the start to ensure Lily never experienced this trauma. More importantly, this failure isn't just about one child being hurt, but about a systemic gap in how we protect children who cannot protect themselves. The fact that Lily couldn't communicate verbally made her an easy target for abuse. And this brings up another important point: the vulnerability of nonverbal and developmentally delayed children in school systems. They rely entirely on adults to advocate for them, to notice when something is wrong, and to take action. When those safeguards fail, as they did on that bus, the consequences can be devastating. What happened to Lily raises serious concerns about the protections in place for these children and whether they are truly enough. Moreover, the school district's response, while swift, leaves much to be desired. Parents are asking why more wasn't done to prevent the incident in the first place. Could the administration have implemented a better plan for monitoring students on the bus? Should there have been more rigorous training for the bus drivers and staff regarding the needs of special needs children? It's clear that the lack of proper oversight in Lily's case was a critical failure, and one that needs to be addressed for all students in the future. The emotional and physical scars Lily now carries are immeasurable, but the impact extends beyond her. For her parents, who placed their trust in a system meant to care for their child, this event is nothing short of betrayal. And while they are doing everything in their power to make sure it doesn't happen again, they can't turn back the clock. The trauma Lily suffered will likely affect her for years to come, possibly influencing her ability to trust others and feel safe in environments outside of her home. For the other children on that bus, witnessing such an event might also have lasting effects. Children especially those with developmental delays, can be deeply affected by what they see around them. Seeing their peer in distress and helpless may have triggered feelings of fear or confusion. It's important that the school provides counseling and emotional support, not just for Lily, but for all the students who may have been indirectly impacted by the incident. And then there's the question of accountability. Should the bus driver face consequences for failing to intervene? Was it negligence, or was the driver overwhelmed with responsibilities? These are questions that need answering, not just for Lily's sake, but to ensure that no other child faces a similar situation. The reality is, mistakes were made, and someone should be held accountable, whether it's the school district, the bus company, or the individual driver. Responsibility must be assigned to prevent future tragedies. Lily's parents have made it clear that they don't want retribution. They want change. They don't want to see another child suffer the way their daughter did. Their plea is for better oversight, more resources for children with special needs, and a system that prioritizes the safety and well-being of all students, especially those who cannot speak for themselves. It's a plea that resonates with every parent who sends their child to school each day, hoping for nothing more than their safety and happiness. This tragic event serves as a wake-up call for schools, bus companies, and communities alike. While most parents take comfort in believing their child is safe during the school day, incidents like this remind us that the systems in place are not foolproof. More must be done to ensure that the most vulnerable among us are protected, not just in the classroom, but on the way there and back home. In the end, the Waldron family's story is about more than just a little girl being hurt on a school bus. It's about trust, responsibility, and the lengths we must go to ensure our children are safe. And while nothing can undo what happened to Lily, her story can serve as a catalyst for much-needed changes in the system. Ultimately, this heartbreaking incident underscores the urgent need for more robust measures to protect vulnerable children. It forces us to reflect on the responsibility we place on schools, transportation services, and caregivers entrusted with our kids' well-being. Whether through increased supervision, better training for staff, or the introduction of aides on special needs buses, the system must evolve to prevent another child from enduring the trauma that Lily experienced. Every child, regardless of their abilities, deserves to feel safe, supported, and protected. And it's up to the adults in their lives to ensure that happens.